signs of an economic slowdown and weaker currencies.
At this year's South Africa Men's Wear Fashion Week in Cape Town, many designers worried how the state of the economy would affect their craft. South Africa's currency, the rand, fell more than 7% since the start of 2016, adding to a 25% decline last year. Fashion designers like Mzuki Simbane set sights on export, targeting customers across the continent.
I started with doing Ghana. I did Nigeria, so I'm looking into going to Kenya. Yeah, the idea is that the brand needs to be identified as a household brand in Africa before I can go over to the other side.
Despite problems in the economy, South African designers showed they never lost their neck to merge modern with cultural relevance. Designer Laduma Ngokolo showcased his latest collection inspired by rite of passage regalia. This is worn by young Xhosa men coming back from initiation. The Xhosa knits are made from merino wool and mohair, a luxurious silk-like yarn from the Angora goat. Ngokolo has caught the eye of fashion heavyweights like Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Since I started my brand, I've realized over the years that people don't buy my knitwear because of the function that it has like any other knitwear. People buy my knitwear because they want to make a statement.
Challenging perceptions that modest is not fashionable, British designer and artist Hannah Tajima teamed up with the high street fashion brand Uniqlo to design a collection of hijabs. These are headscarves, tunics, high-waisted tapered trousers and wraparound dresses in a variety of bold patterns and colors. Tajima is part of a global movement of designers trying to show the hijab and other Islamic dress as symbols of empowerment for women and not oppression.
I think, in fact, it's not necessarily just about designing for Muslim women, but diversity in general and designing for different body types and people from different cultural backgrounds. I think that that's something that we haven't seen a lot of on the high street, and you can start to see now that brands are branching out a little.
Back in Africa, Kenya's Ujirani Mwema community project set out to boost local production of the Maasai blanket, a cultural checked fabric done in bright colors. The Maasai blanket has inspired fashion products seen on international runways in recent years, including collections by French fashion house Louis Vuitton. UMAC wants to encounter lighter and cheaper versions of the blanket that are imported from China and have found their way into the local market. The workshop produces 40 blankets a day that are sold in supermarkets and has 10 employees.
We have decided to discourage people from importing textiles. We have discovered that we are capable of producing the blankets ourselves so that we can sell them locally and internationally because we have a permit from the national and county government.
At this year's Angola Fashion Week, organizers aim to make fashion count as a burgeoning investment market in the same way it does for South Africa. Local designers said fashion could generate valuable jobs for Angola's unemployed youth to counter an economic crisis sparked by a hit on prices of country's main revenue earner, oil.
It's time for those in government to try and revive the industry. We had a national fashion industry some years ago. It died. We need the Ministry of Culture to be investing in the youth, to see the strength of the youth, to join us, and we can give our ideas.
Fashion Hub Nigeria, as always, turned to tradition for inspiration, giving new life to Aso Oke, a hand-loomed traditional fabric woven by the Yoruba community. The brand Ethnic creates colorful accessories, sneakers, boots and sandals, all made from Aso Oke. But again, economic woes meant the business struggled. Nigeria is facing its worst economic crisis in 20 years.
Once we're able to cross that hurdle, and we know that we can get the kind of materials we want readily available to us without breaking the bank, then we can start to produce things that will rival the international.
Tunde, like many fashion designers and entrepreneurs, is hoping hard work and unwavering interest in Africa's fashion scene will help overcome the current economic situation.